Welcome to the lectures on service management principles. I am Grönroos from Hanken School of Economics. The topic is service marketing and relationship-focused promise management. The first question we can ask ourselves here, of course, what is marketing and what is the meaning of marketing? And to me, the meaning of marketing is to make the firm meaningful to its customers. And in my view, this is the best possible and the simplest definition of marketing. It doesn't say too much, doesn't say too little, it says what is important. The firm must make, that is, take action according to which customers will consider it meaningful. Then they will buy, continue buying, and develop relational engagements with the firm. It's important today to realize that marketing is not only about getting customers, it's equally important, and these days it gets more and more important to keep the customers you have. And even more, to create customer relationships with the customers you have. My former colleagues Kai Stulbakka and Jarmo Lehtinen formulated in this way that keeping customer is a matter of getting a larger share of the customer's wallet, whereas creating customer relationships is to get a share of the customer's hearts and minds as well. And that is what relationships really require, emotional attachment. But this, of course, goes two ways. The firm has also to give its heart and mind to its customers. Now, expanding somewhat on this definition to make it more inclusive, it would look like this. Marketing is to make a firm meaningful to its customers by offering and implementing support to its customers' everyday processes in order to enable the customers to reach their goals in their life or business processes, and in a way valuable for all parties involved. Now, offering means making promises. Implementing means keeping promises. And making and keeping promises by traveling with the customer through the customer's voyage, the customer's everyday processes, and in such a way that the customer's goals are achieved in a way that they feel satisfied with, that is considered valuable. Now, requirements for this. Well, of course, there's a number of requirements. First of all, the firm must have something meaningful to offer. The second one, both the outcome, the technical quality of the offering, and the process, the functional quality of the interactions with the firm must be meaningful to the customer. It's not enough that the technical quality is good. The process, the functional quality of the process must be good as well, and that could be more important for success. Customer expectations must be set on a reachable level, meaning one has absolutely to avoid over-promising. And the customer's whole consumption and usage process must be taken into account and successfully supported, the whole customer voyage. Promises made must be impeccably kept. Impeccably kept. No mistake must happen. Sometimes they do anyway, but then they have to be recovered impeccably. And finally, promise making and keeping must be enabled by appropriate product and service development, resource and system development, internal marketing, as well as, if needed, network building, so that the firm have supporting companies taking care of its customers. Now, these requirements are all necessary in order to be able to make the firm meaningful to its customers. How is this really functioning? Then we come to a marketing model called promise management. Promise management, well, that means that promises made have to be kept and have to be enabled in an integrated way. In an earlier lecture, I have used this marketing triangle to explain the marketing game plan. And just quickly, I could say here that there are the full-time marketers representing the firm that make promises to the consumers. And then there are the part-time marketers, the rest of the people in other business functions and other business processes interacting with the customers that are keeping the promises. And by doing so, well, they are making customers interested in staying and buying more and buying them again. And they manage to get the customers' hearts and minds. That's interactive marketing. And then, of course, enabling promises, a matter of resource development and internal marketing. Now, this is what promise management is, to manage all these three aspects of promises. The promise management model can be defined in a way that looks rather complicated, but as a matter of fact, it isn't that. Let me walk you through that. Marketing is a customer focus that permeates organizational functions, and it is geared towards making promises through value propositions, also called value promises, enabling the fulfillment of individual customer expectations created by such promises, and fulfilling such expectations through support to the customer's everyday processes, thereby facilitating value creation in the customers, as well as the firms and other stakeholders' processes. Now, in this promise management definition of marketing, all the aspects of the service perspective or the service logic on business are tied together. And we have talked about these aspects during other lectures in this series of service management principles. It's a question of making sure we can make the promises that customers buy, and we create expectations, individual expectations, and then that we can fulfill them and keep those promises, and we make sure that we enable the fulfillment of promises. And on the first line here, it says marketing is a customer focus that permeates organizational functions. It is not one function only. It is something that should be instilled in all business functions, a customer focus. Let's take a model that in a dynamic way shows this. It's a relationship marketing model. Now, on the innermost circle is a customer process. That is customer experiencing and perceiving the quality of what he or she or the people in an organization are experiencing. The outermost circle is a separate communication process that is making promises through external marketing communication, sales, offers, and so on and so forth, showing references and more. Also social media exposures to customers are there. Now the second circle from the outside is an interaction process. It's a matter of keeping promises. That's interactive marketing. And the arrows that go from the outermost circle to the next circle just show that the promises made have to be geared towards how promises are kept. Now let's look at this through an example. The case I've used several times during earlier lectures, the industrial maintenance firm. Originally, when it didn't go so well for it, because the customers considered the quality was bad, through sales and marketing activities, they gave promises that turned out to be over promises, because the way the maintenance people performed, communicated with customers, the flexibility of the firm, the way of correcting mistakes was not acceptable for the customers. So they considered the perceived service quality low, although the outcome of the maintenance normally was perfectly good. And therefore, marketing was unsuccessful and the customers were one by one lost. Now the firm then changed the situation through a strategy change, internal development and training processes, so that they could take care of the interaction process in a way that customers felt comfortable with, or customers felt positively about. And then they managed to get customers back and keep customers. What they did was they successfully then managed to run the both outermost circles, the communication process and the interaction process, in an integrated fashion, and then marketing functions. Now these models can, in the same way as the market triangle model, easily be used for analysis in firms, and in the following phase for developing marketing processes. There are some ground rules to end this lecture with. First one, regardless of which organizational processes or departments they belong to, resources, processes, and activities that influence the customer's preferences and behaviors are marketing resources, processes, and activities. Regardless of where these resources, processes, activities are, if customers consider them marketing resources because they influence the customer's willingness to buy and buy more, they are marketing resources. Secondly, the firm's customers therefore decide which of the firm's resources, processes, and activities are marketing resources, processes, and activities. Neither the firm nor its marketers do that. Which means that we cannot decide what should be in a so-called marketing plan. The customers decide that, and we have to take that seriously from now on. Thirdly, today marketing is not a separate function only, as I said earlier, but a customer focus which permeates organizational departments and processes. Now these three ground rules, they are normally not in any textbooks on marketing because they are taken for granted and they are almost constantly violated. But to make a firm meaningful to its customers today, these rules must not be violated in the future. Otherwise, marketing will not be successful. The next lecture will be on service profitability. Thank you.